Have you ever noticed how a leaf falls, not with urgency, not with ambition, but with grace? It doesn't race to the ground. It dances, even in descent. We are always rushing, always reaching, but perhaps life was never meant to be conquered. Perhaps it was meant to be noticed, like the quiet steam curling from a morning cup of tea, like the warmth of sun slipping through paper doors. The world tells us to hurry to achieve, to accumulate, to ascend, but the sacred hides in the steps we overlook, in the soft sweep of a broom against the floor, in the quiet clink of a bowl placed gently on a table, in the silence between thoughts, where truth waits like still water. A monk once said, "When you walk, just walk. When you eat, just eat." Yet we walk with our minds somewhere else and eat with screens lighting our faces. Presence has become a forgotten language, but it is not lost. It is only buried under noise, under tasks, under shoulds. There is nothing ordinary about a single breath, no repetition in the rising and falling of your chest. Each inhale is a gift returning. Each exhale, a letting go. You don't need to seek meaning far from where you are. It is folded into every moment like fragrance in a flower. You don't need to climb a mountain to meet the sacred. You only need to stand still long enough to feel the earth hold you. You only need to stir your tea slowly and watch the leaves swirl as if they know something you've forgotten. We think wisdom is found in grand teachings, but the greatest masters lived simply. They swept their temples with devotion. They walked mindfully, step by sacred step. The broom was not just a broom. The path was not just a path. Everything, even the smallest thing, was a gate to awakening. You've walked past thousands of miracles, a cracked bowl still holding soup, the shadow of a tree swaying like it's alive, your mother's hands folding laundry. We miss them not because they're small, but because we've grown too large in our heads, too important to kneel and witness the divine in dust. But dust itself is holy when you see it for what it is. Fallen stars, fragments of time, memories of the universe resting in your windowsill. What if nothing needed to change for you to be at peace? What if the task was not to become something else, but to come back to what you already are? Soft, still, aware. There is no next moment that will finally give you permission to feel enough. No promotion, no title, no applause will make your spirit settle. But washing your hands slowly might, sitting in silence before the day begins might, lighting a candle without reason might. Life is not waiting for you on the other side of achievement. It's right here, in the doorway of this very moment, and like a shy deer, it will only come closer when you're quiet enough. Sometimes we fear the quiet because it reveals the ache, the part of us that feels we're not doing enough, being enough, becoming enough. But the ache is not your enemy. It's a bell calling you back, back to this breath, this blink, this heartbeat. There is a temple in every home. If your mind is clean, there is a teacher in every child. If your heart is open, there is a lesson in every moment. If your eyes are clear, and clarity does not come through force, it arrives when you stop trying to see and let seeing happen. A bowl of rice, a beam of sunlight on the floor, a laugh echoing down the hall. Do not ask these things to be more. Let them be exactly what they are, and love them as they are. This is the path of small steps, the path of the sacred ordinary, the walk of someone who has realized that meaning does not arrive with fanfare, but sneaks in like the scent of jasmine at night, unnoticed by the loud. Each step, if taken in awareness, is enough to change a life. You do not need to leap. You only need to return. Return to where you are. Return to what is real. Return to the sound of your own breath. Stillness is not a lack of movement. It is a fullness of presence, and peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of perspective. There is a story about a man who asked a Zen master, "What is enlightenment?" The master said, "When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep. And the man said, "But I do that already." The master replied, "No. When you eat, your mind is on 1,000 things. When you sleep, your mind is still racing. I eat when I eat. I sleep when I sleep. The practice is not to do more. The practice is to be here more. The teacup, the raindrop, the cat stretching in the sun. They are not distractions from life. They are life. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are only distracted. And distraction is not failure. It is forgetfulness. So remember the soft steps, the cool water, the smile you forgot to return, the breath that saved you this morning without you even noticing. You don't need to shout your worth. You only need to live it quietly, consistently, kindly, like the wind carving stone, like the moon pulling tides, like your own heart, beating in the dark, asking for nothing but a moment of your listening. And here you are, still enough to hear, still enough to feel the sacred wrapped in the ordinary, not in someday, but in today, not in another place, but here, in the space between your eyes and the sky. Look closely at your hands, not to judge them, not to compare, but to remember how many mornings they have carried you, how many spoons they've lifted, how many tears they've wiped yours and others. These hands are not just tools, they are records of devotion. And what is devotion but attention wrapped in love? Not the loud kind, not the kind with banners or applause, but the silent kind, the way you water a plant without telling anyone, the way you tuck the blanket over someone's shoulders before you sleep. We keep waiting for some sign that life has started, that this, now, finally, is the real thing. But the real thing has never stopped arriving. The moment you open your eyes, it begins again. A fresh page, a clean bowl, a single step. There is no wasted day when your heart is awake. Even doing the dishes becomes a meditation. Each plate, a reflection of care. Each rinse, a letting go. You don't need incense or robes to be spiritual. You only need to be honest. Where am I now? What am I touching? Who is in front of me? And can I meet this moment like it matters because it does? A child doesn't ask whether they are walking the right path when they chase butterflies. A sparrow doesn't question the value of its flight. It simply flies because that is its nature. And your nature, before the noise, before the striving, is stillness, awareness, kindness. You were not born to prove. You were born to live, to witness this world with soft eyes, to love without needing to be noticed, to give without keeping count, to listen without preparing your reply. The path is not outside you. It unfolds wherever your feet touch with mindfulness. Even walking to the mailbox can be sacred. Even peeling fruit can be prayer. Even waiting at a red light can be practice. If your breath remains soft and your gaze remains clear, monks bow not to the statue, but to the moment, to the humility of recognizing, I am here, I am alive, I am not rushing, and in that bow, they become vast. Because what is bigger than someone who bows to life as it is? The world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more presence. Not people who never fall, but people who fall and get up gently, who touch their pain with compassion, who carry their confusion like a fragile cup, not throwing it, but holding it until it quiets. Do not wait until the noise stops to be at peace. Find your peace inside the noise, as the Buddha sat beneath the tree, not in the absence of suffering, but in the middle of it. And still, he breathed. Still, he saw clearly. Still, he smiled. You can smile now, not because everything is perfect, but because your soul recognizes the beauty of being, not doing, just being, like a lantern that lights up without effort, like a stream that flows without needing permission. So let today be ordinary. Let it be so beautifully, radically ordinary that your soul bows in awe, not because it is impressive, but because it is real, because it is yours, because it is happening now, and you are awake for it. Chop wood, carry water, wash the bowl, watch the rain. The sacred is not hiding. It is whispering from every corner. from the crack in the tile, from the creak in the floor, from the steam rising off your morning rice. There is nothing more important than this moment. Not what you will become, not what you will fix, but how you touch this single second with reverence or with rush. The world will keep spinning. Let it, you stay here, still, listening, breathing, because the miracle is not in what's next. It is in what is already here. And if you can meet this moment with your whole being, you won't need to search for meaning. You will become it. The tea does not rush to cool. The moon does not hurry the tides. Why then must we chase every minute as if it owes us something? What if time isn't slipping away? What if we are the ones slipping past time because we never paused long enough to feel it? There is a temple in folding clothes. There is a prayer in feeding a bird. There is grace in sweeping a floor. You don't need to escape to the mountains. You don't need to find silence in a monastery. The silence is already within you. It walks with you in the market. It breathes with you in traffic. It waits behind every sound. Like the canvas waits behind every painting, the sacred has never left. It's only that your eyes have become too busy seeing other things. The screen, the score, the schedule, the scroll. But look up. There is sky. There is sky. And it's always been enough. Sit by the window. Watch the light change. That, too, is a miracle. Your heart has waited years for you to slow down. Not because it needs more time, but because it knows that meaning cannot be rushed. Like fruit ripens when it's ready. Like snow falls only when the clouds are full. So be full not of effort, but of attention. Hold the chopsticks with reverence. Wash the rice like it matters. Because it does. Because every action, when done with presence, becomes a sacred gesture. The wise do not climb to find peace. They descend into simplicity, into quiet, into the rhythm of small things done well. That is the invitation to return to the humble, to the everyday, to the unnoticed. There is no such thing as too small. A single grain of rice, a single glance of compassion, a single deep breath. Each is a thread weaving the great tapestry of this moment. There is no other moment. So when the kettle whistles, let that be enough. When the wind touches your cheek, let that be enough. When the silence meets your tired eyes, let that be enough. Because it is, you are not here to become someone. You are here to remember who you already are. Kind, aware, alive. And that remembrance will not come from striving. It will come in the pauses, in the breathing, in the bowing to things you used to rush past. Walk slowly, eat with care, speak with clarity, rest without guilt. This is how the sacred arrives, not through thunder, but through the sound of your own soul, whispering, I am here, I am ready to live. There is nothing more spiritual than loving what is in front of you, not what you planned, not what you hoped for, but what is the chipped mug, the forgotten plant that still leans toward the sun, the way the wind visits your face before vanishing again. You are not separate from these things. You are not above them. You are a part of them, woven into this fabric of now, stitch by tender stitch. There is no enlightenment outside of ordinary life, because life is the teaching, the way your mother said your name, the way the door creaks in the morning, the way your breath softens when you are finally kind to yourself. And when you start seeing this, when you begin to bow to the dish in your hand, when you begin to thank the floor for holding you, when you begin to speak to others not as roles, but as souls, you have already arrived. There is nowhere else you need to be, nowhere more holy than this very moment. No robe, no bell, no altar can add to the sanctity of now, because you have remembered how to live without needing more, how to return without running, how to love without reason, how to breathe without apology. Even suffering becomes sacred when held in awareness. Even grief becomes holy when you stop trying to fix it and simply sit beside it. The monks knew this. The old women at the market know this. The birds know this. It is only us, the ones who've forgotten how to stop, who must relearn what the world already knows. That stillness is not the absence of life, but the full presence of it. So let the ordinary become your temple. Let the folding of laundry be your meditation. Let the act of listening, truly listening, be your vow. You don't need to have the answers. You only need to be awake enough to ask the right questions. What am I touching? Who am I with? Is my heart soft? In this moment, ask gently, listen gently, live gently, because this life, this beautifully, heartbreakingly, fleetingly ordinary life, is not a stepping stone to something else. It is the whole path, and each small step you take in awareness, each dish you wash with love, each word you speak with kindness, each breath you greet with reverence, becomes your sacred offering. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be present. In that presence, everything changes. The noise becomes music. The burden becomes a lesson. The moment becomes enough. And maybe that's all we ever needed. Not a new life, not a louder one, not a grander one, but this one, this quiet, unseen, blessed, beautiful, ordinary life, taken step by step, breath by breath, with hands open, eyes clear, and heart awake. That is sacred, and that is enough.